Hey, this is Mrs. Davis. This is AP Pre-Cal. This is Unit 3B, the review, and we're on number 5 and number 6. So we still are on finding the equations, given a lot of data. So if you look, let's first, this is a secant function, so that means its reciprocal function is cosine x. So let's sketch in the cosine skeleton so we can see what's going on with that function. So looks like we have this, and then it comes down here and goes back up, and then it's going to come down. Okay, so we can look from here to here. It looks like we have a period, or we can actually look from here to here. So if you look at this is a negative pi over 2, and it comes up here to 3 pi over 2. So negative pi over 2 to 3 pi over 2 is 4 pi over 2, or 2 pi. So our period is 2 pi, which is your normal period for cosine. So let's see. Let's try to figure out a phase shift, though. If I usually start cosine, it would usually be here, right? So that means I moved left pi over 2. So I have a phase shift plus pi over 2. So A, B, C. Okay, so B is 1, and C is pi over 2. Okay, and now let's look at our amplitude. Looks like we have the same midline, and our amplitude is just 1. I'm going from here to here. It's just 1, and here to here. So A is 1 and D is 0. So let's just finish a few more things. We can do the domain now. That would be x such that x is not equal to the asymptotes here are at negative pi and at 0. So we can say 0 plus pi n, they're every pi. N is an element of z. And so then the range goes from, let's do it in interval notation, because we're going from negative pi to negative 1, and negative 1 is included. And then we're going from 1 to infinity. 1 is included. And lastly, we have some asymptotes at everywhere there was a domain. So x equals 0 plus pi n, where n is an element of the integers. All right, so we have what we need to write our secant. So we have y equals 1 times the secant of x plus pi over 2. Okay, you could have also gone right pi over 2. So if you look where I'm starting again, but it would have to be negative. So you could have done it to the other way, where you have y equals negative secant x minus pi over 2. But I just kept the positive in front of secant, so that, because sometimes they ask you to make sure you don't use a negative angle there, a negative a. So all right, let's move on to the next problem. So far so good. Find the cosecant function. All right, and so let's look at that. We have, let's put in that would be, its reciprocal function is the sine function. So we're looking at coming from here. It looks like we have a midline at y equals 2. So D is going to be 2, and it looks like A is just going to be 1 because it's just 1 up from that 2. It goes to 1 and then up to 3. So, all right, now let's look what our period is. We're going from negative 2 pi, I'm right here, to the next time I'm up, over, down, and up to 2 pi. So that means my period is 4 pi. My reciprocal, let's write that down, is sine x. The period is 4 pi. So that means B is 2 pi over 1/2 or 2 pi over 4 pi if we're going for B, right? So B is 1/2. I was saying what B was, not over what. And C, let's see if there's a phase shift. So I'm supposed to start, let's see, I'm supposed to start at 0, and it looks like I went, if I'm starting here, right, there's my 0 going up, down, over, up, right? Then it looks like I am you got to see how far you've shifted over, and so it looks like I have shifted over. Got to do my dots right, do them a little better, right? Looks like instead of here, from here to here, I have shifted over pi, shifted to the left pi. So that would be, C would be negative pi so if it was plus, let's see, I've got to think about this. It's going left, and so I would have minus pi, or actually, could you do it right too? Let's see, what if I do that, it's left, so that would be, that would just be pi. Okay, so our phase shift then is going to be left pi. Our asymptotes are going to be at x equals, we have them here, pi, and then they're going 2 pi over, so pi plus 2 pi n. N is an element of z. And then also my domain, x such that x is not equal to pi plus 2 pi n. N is an element of z. And my range is going to go from negative infinity to 1. This is 1. I'm doing this right here, if you can look at the picture, to 1. And then it starts again at 3 to infinity. And that would make my equation y equals cosecant 1/2 of x plus pi plus 2. Okay, so that's number 5 and number 6.